Hey y'all, today is a busy day. I have a ton of things that need to be planted out in my garden. I have a ton of seeds that need to be direct sown. I have flowers that need to go out. And I have quite a few things that need to be up potted before they're ready. March is one of the busiest months for us. It's definitely our make or break month. If you want to have the best harvest, we have to be continuously succession sowing and staying on top of everything that needs to be planted out. And this is also the time when we get to do the majority of our direct sowing. So let's get started. We are going to be direct sowing a lot of things today in my main garden beds and in the grow bags. Now these grow bags were quite a disaster, if I may say so. They needed a lot of TLC. I really kind of neglected them over the winter time. Thought we were going to be getting rid of them, and my husband decided last minute, no, let's try to utilize them. So we're going to be getting those all planted out today. So after rummaging through my seed box, the first thing we're going to sow is some cucumbers. This is it was a free packet. It's the Sweeter Yet hybrid. I'm going to soak these for a few minutes. I do this with all the seeds that I direct sow. I just find that soaking them for a few minutes prior to planting them out speeds up the germination a bit. Now, this bed I always grow my cucumbers in, and I am going to grow them in here again, but I am going to do things a little bit differently this year. I'm also going to interplant along this trellis with them some of these pole beans. Looks like purple pole beans. So I have them all soaking together, and I'm going to plant them together in here and see how they do. I think they'll do fine. Now this bed is all done. And before I get too deep into this, I want to thank today's sponsor, Cow. Cow is an Amazon store that specializes in rubber boots, and they recently sent over these women's ankle boots. I've been wearing them a ton out here in the garden. I live where we have really wet, swampy ground, tall grass, and even a pond to maintain. So having something that's actually waterproof and durable is just a must. These are completely waterproof, and they clean up really easily, which, let's be honest, is important because everything gets dirty out here. They're also really lightweight and breathable, so I can wear them for long stretches without feeling like I need to take them off. And they're super easy to slip on and off with the pull tabs, which just makes them really convenient for everyday use, both indoors or outdoors. I actually wore these all day while planting out my tomato plants, and they stayed comfortable the entire time. And Cow was kind enough to offer our viewers a discount code, which I will have both their Amazon store as well as the coupon code linked down below in the description box. So thanks again, Cow. So this side of the trellis, I'm going to do the exact same thing. Cucumbers and beans. I'm going to go a little bit heavier with beans on this side because I know that they will work. All right, we got our back two beds done, and I'm going to plant out my front two beds after I do my grow bags. And I have a reason for that. I am quite suspicious that those front two beds have bacterial wilt. So I really don't want to cross-contaminate any more than necessary. So grow bags first. In my grow bags, I'm going to be alternating bush beans with squash. I have a couple different varieties we're going to rotate through. Some Black Beauty, Butterstick, Hybrid, and Cube of Butter. Now, these are all older seeds, and this is really a gamble. We do have squash vine borers that come and attack everything in my yard. They normally come the end of April, so I'm not really sure if I'm going to be able to even get a harvest out of these, but we're going to go ahead and plant them out anyway. Now, these grow bags needed some TLC. They had been really neglected over the winter time. So all I did was I came in, took all the weeds out. It's my pile of weeds right there. I put down a layer of granulated fertilizer, and then we just top dressed it with a layer of compost. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going my full amendment routine on these bags. I did put wood ash in them during the wintertime in the bags that had things like onions and carrots growing, but I'm not going to really go through all that right now just because I don't know what we're actually going to get out of this. And yes, I did pre-soak these seeds as well. Now that I got my squash and zucchini in, I'm going to plant in the other bags a bush bean variety. This is the improved tender green. Obviously, you can use any bush bean that you like. In fact, I am currently looking for a bush bean that is stringless. So if you have any recommendations for a good stringless bush bean, please comment them down below. Now I'm going to plant 2 beans per bag. Now, if any of this comes up, I will set these bags up with some sort of Oya system, just so I don't have to water as often, because I used to have these bags on drip irrigation and now they're not. And we get really hot here. So I will have to figure out some sort of a water solution. Alrighty. Everybody is tucked in. I did also start some other zucchini for backup in the greenhouse. Okay, for these last 2 beds, I'm going to do a mixture of the sunset runner bean. I'm going to do sunset runner bean and Tahitian melon. If it turns out that these 2 beds do have bacterial wilt, the beans are not going to produce. I would expect them to die off with just about everything else in there. However, the melon should produce. And my understanding is that this melon can stand up to the squash vine borers, kind of like the guguts that I grow also. And we'll see if that holds true. So I am taking a gamble doing this. I just push them down deep. Make sure they're covered well. My peas are done for the season, I believe. That's okay because they're still useful. They are nitrogen fixers. And so I leave them in, let their roots decompose, and give back to the garden bed. Okay, so now that the direct sowing is done, I picked up my seed box because I need to focus on up potting what I have here. This is my eggplant and another sweet pepper and some backup tomatoes. I have 1 Paul Robeson and a couple black from Tula that I'm going to up pot because I do have some out in my yard that don't look great. So I do need to have backups just in case. And same thing with the peppers. I have some that don't look perfect. This was the self-watering seed starter kit that my friend had sent me. And there were a couple of things about it that didn't work out well. It came with lights. And if I'm being honest, the lights never really worked. They sat way too far on the lid from these for them to actually not get leggy. It was okay for me because I have the greenhouse with grow lights, so it wasn't a big deal. I was able to, get everything to grow just fine. The other issue I had was that the roots, if you didn't pot fast enough, which clearly I did not, the roots would grow through the felt. So you really do have to be quick if you're going to use a system like this. Now this is the Italian long eggplant. I have other eggplant we just started. That's not this. This has been started for quite a while. Didn't want to make it look disingenuous. I do want my ground cherries though, for sure. So at the end of the day, this kit was a gift from my friend. Did not buy this myself. And after using it, I was able to make use of it because of my current setup. But if you don't have grow lights in a greenhouse or a separate place that you can adjust, would I recommend buying this? No, I would not recommend it. Okay, next step done. So now all I've got left to do is put out some flowers. Now, I started a bunch of different flower varieties in a separate video that I can link at the end of this one if you're interested. But what I do is I just kind of look around and see who's in the tray that's ready to get out. And then I just walk through my yard, and any bed that I see that doesn't have something beautiful growing in it, I will plant out. And I'm definitely one of those gardeners who doesn't feel like my garden's complete until every bed has the main plants as well as flowers and herbs planted out. Then and only then are my beds complete. Well, we got a lot done today. I planted out mainly my cosmos and marigolds. I still have a few marigolds left that just weren't quite big enough, and several of other varieties that I felt could use a little extra time in the tray because it is pretty hot out here and I want them to be able to stand on their own when it's time for them to go out. But as you can see, the garden is progressing along quite nicely. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you're into homesteading content or gardening content, or if you just want to see how this progresses along, I encourage you to subscribe. And until next time, stay blessed.